Location, location, location. What is it about location? If you've watched my previous video, you'd realize that in certain districts, despite located further away from the MRT station, owners of the developments recorded higher profits from the sale of their property. One of the reasons for that is being located close to a good school. Shalom everyone, I'm Julia from Property Jupes. As we all know, every school is a good school, but not every school is the same. So that brings us to the question which many are asking. Would the close proximity within 1 km of a good school affect the value of your property? Before we dive into the data, let's understand the two factors that will influence the performance of developments near branded schools. 1. Societal pressures. Education is extremely important in Singapore, and Singapore focuses a lot on the education system. And all Singaporean children would have to go through the local education system for their primary school education. So parents with children who are coming up to the age of 6 years old, because in the June-July period of the year that they turn 6, it is when they ballot for a spot in their ideal primary school. As children who stay within the 1 km proximity of the primary schools that they intend to enroll in would have a higher chance when balloting, parents will plan in advance to move near to that primary school itself. And because there's a heavy focus on education in Singapore, being within the 1 km proximity of a good school would therefore have a constant demand, thereby enhancing and driving the value of the properties inside it. Where there is demand, there will be transactions. Where there are constant transactions, the valuation of the property will be strong and therefore increasing the value of the property across time. 2. The ownership rate. Parents that bought a property in the 1 km proximity of good schools would have a criteria to fulfill. They would have to stay in the 1 km radius for at least 30 months after the child is enrolled in the primary school. As such, the likelihood of the family using the property for own stay is very high, and there won't be frequent fire sales as compared to units bought for investment purposes. With a family that buys for own stay, typically they would stay for the entire duration of the child's primary school education, 6 years for primary school education, and about 7 to 9 years if you count moving in when the child's around 5 to 6 years old in preparation for the balloting. When the child is done with PSLE and has to go to secondary school which is not near them, that's when the family would consider moving out of this place and buying or renting another property closer to the school that their kid is going to be studying in. So when owners of such properties stay long and when the occupation rate is high in that particular project itself, it would mean that the holding power is strong and therefore holding up the value of the development. Let's head over to District 20 and look at how some of the developments within the 1 km radius of renowned Ai Tong School performed. Thomson's Tree was launched in 2013 and achieved TOP in 2016. Thomson's Tree land size is approximately 13,000 square meters with 435 units and is within the 1 km proximity of Ai Tong. If you've watched my previous video, you know that for this district, land size of the development and having condo facilities are very important factors driving the demand of the development. One other important factor here is the proximity to a good school. There were 90 profitable transactions in this development, and out of which 38 happened in the past 12 months. The profits that each owner made were in the range of 100,000 to $500,000. Most owners who sold it off held the property for about 6 to 9 years, which is in line with what I shared earlier. It's been 8 years since any new launch in District 1920 and we'll be welcoming 𝕁𝕦𝕚 Residence, a joint venture between renowned real estate developers UOL, Singapore Land Group and Keng Leong. I've had a few buyers ask me for my thoughts on 𝕁𝕚𝕚 Residence and whether or not it's worth buying in. So here's some information about 𝕁𝕚𝕚 Residence. The upcoming 𝕁𝕚𝕚 Residence will be along Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1 and will sit on 12,700 square meters of land. There will be a total of 372 units with a mixture of 2 bedrooms to 5 bedroom units. This is 63 units less than Thomson 3, but on a land size which is comparable. 𝕁𝕚𝕚 Residence is located a 5 minutes walk away from Mayflower MRT and is within the 1 km radius of 2 SAP schools, St. Nicholas Girls' School and Ai Tong School. I'm sure you can see by now, 𝕁𝕚𝕚 Residence checks off many of the boxes for factors for successful development. Now the other important thing to look out for is the entry price and selecting the right unit. Of course, Thomson Tree is not the only development within the 1 km radius of Ai Tong. If you'd like to know more about how the other developments performed in this district or how other developments near other good schools have performed, do drop me a message on any of my socials or click on the button below in the description. If there's a certain project or topic that you want me to touch on, do leave a comment in the section below. And if you find my videos useful, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you soon!